Hey, Kanda, want more proof? Although I don't think you should need much more if you pay attention to my videos. But I'm going to give you just one more bit of proof that the CBC News is just a political opportunist media outlet and opinion maker that has no concept whatsoever of being even remotely objective or offering multiple sides of any story to give you competing ideas that you could form your own opinion from. They want to put forward and present constantly a single-sided tunnel vision type narrative or dialogue. They don't ever want to offer anything that might make you question what they have to say or the experts that they put forward and present. Exhibit A. It's a Sunday edition. The headline is Michael's essay. Hillary Clinton lost because she's a woman. Yeah, that's the headline article, right? After all these months, they're still going on about Hillary Clinton. These are these progressives, these globalists, right? These central planning collectivists. They're so wrought and disdained by the fact that Hillary Clinton didn't win and they didn't get to maintain their established structure of dominance in the global and social and political landscape that's all about globalism, right? Denying the rights of the individual and making everything about the collective, right? I mean, these are full-on collectivists. But the fact that they can do this without offering any counter narrative or rebuttal, I mean, that's the best form of evidence that you could possibly need to show you that they don't really care about being objective, right? About offering multiple sides of a story, multiple narratives, and giving you the ability and the autonomy to decide for yourself and discern which is truthful, which is more objective, which has more logically and consistent reason behind it. When they put forth these kind of messages and these dialogues where it's always from one side of the political spectrum or from one point of view, well, that's enough evidence that any critically thinking human being should say, well, listen, if you're just going to give me one side of the story, well, that's just propaganda. That's all it is. There's nothing that you can suggest otherwise to tell me that you're actually doing actual journalism if you're only going to give me one side of the story. I'm going to play this little 4-minute segment here and let it play out in its entirety so I can show you with real-world evidence once again that it's all about one dominant narrative. No objective journalism or alternative points of view are going to be offered in this entire dialogue.
A singular anniversary went pretty much unnoticed in the United States 8 days ago. On September the 23rd, 1838, a woman named Victoria Claflin Woodhull was born in Homer, Ohio. She is important because she was the first woman to run for president of the United States. She did that in 1872. Her campaign was financed in part by the wealthy industrialist Cornelius Vanderbilt. The anniversary occurred just 11 days after a book by Hillary Rodham Clinton, another woman who ran for the presidency, was released into the world. It is called What Happened, and it's the story of her 2016 election campaign against Donald Trump. Though she won 3 million more popular votes than Trump, she was beaten in the weirdly anachronistic Electoral College. Now, I haven't read the book. I'm not much on political...
Actually, before I continue on, I just want to point out right here, because Michael, once again, already put forth and presented a dialogue that, like I said, he should be able to explain this more. If he gave an actual and in-depth analysis and explanation for it, you'd understand it better. But because he's a political propagandist and mouthpiece for the leftists, right, those that represent the CBC, you're not going to get that. But I'm here to help you in that aspect, in that regard. Now, the Electoral College, through the Republican-style system of governments in the U.S., was meant to give equal representation for all states. So the most populous states, such as California or New York, couldn't completely dominate, dictate, and control how politics plays out for the rest of the states. The Electoral College, I think it was ingenious in reality, that allowed even states that don't have quite as high of a population to have just as much say in how the country is run, right? That was the whole point of point of having a United States is, I mean, if they set up the United States as, hey, California and New York because they're more populous, they will constantly, continually, always have the power to sway politics to their favor. Well, then you wouldn't have such things as the United States. How that played out was saying, hey, even places like Wyoming or Ohio or some of these other less populous states, you will have just as much representation in choosing how politics goes forward in this country. That's what the Republican-style system and the U.S. was all about, and why states' rights were so important. But Michael's pointing this out as if, oh, well, Hillary got 3 million more votes. Well, yeah, that's because the socialists in California and New York, the ones that are all about big government, chose to go in mass and vote for her. But that's the thing. It's not the United States of California and New York. It's the United States of America. And America represents all those other 48 states as well, right? But Michael wants to negate that or just seemingly, I don't know, forgetfully mention that fact, right? And that's done on purpose, folks. Michael isn't that fucking stupid. If you think Michael is really that stupid, well, then he's not competent enough to even be fucking employed by a corporation such as the CBC, right? But in reality, he understands the reality of that. He just don't want to point that out to you because he's hoping that you can remain ignorant so he can put forth and present his kind of dialogue, his kind of narrative, and you won't question it.
Legal memoirs, which tend to be overly self-serving. She was on the book trail this week in Canada. But I remain intrigued by the nagging holdover question from the campaign. Why do so many people hate Hillary Clinton? The release of her book has restoked the hate Hillary fires, and I can't understand why. On view during the 2016 campaign was one of the sharpest minds in recent U.S. political history. She was tough, articulate, sympathetic, compassionate, fearfully focused. In the early going, I almost, but not quite, felt sorry for Donald Trump, who was so outgunned on every front. American media have for some reason long waged anti-Hillary ambushes. Maureen Dowd, the op-ed columnist for the New York Times, has been sniping at Clinton for years. She has called Clinton shifty, a dominatrix, and said of her 2016...
So once again, Michael is once again misrepresenting the media because, as you know, if you're paying attention to the 2016 elections, you know most of the establishment media, with a few exceptions, were completely on side of promoting and cheerleading Hillary Clinton's run for the presidential race. So once again, Michael is misrepresenting the reality of the facts. Let's continue on.
Campaign quote, in 2005, she ran as a man. Now she's running as a woman, end quote. Clinton has been called untrustworthy, but the fact of the matter is that she is one of the most openly honest politicians.
And even the fact, let me just, sorry for interrupting once again, but even the fact that Michael's saying in 2005, or whoever's putting forth this dialogue, that she ran as a man in 2005 and as a woman in 2016. Hello, if you're going to be a representative, and or at least that pretense of being a representative of the population at large, you should really not be running as either or, right? You should be respectful of both. But once again, we see how this fucking culture Marxism, this postmodernism, this identity politics is playing into the fray, and Michael's going right along with them.
Politicians in the country. Last year, the media made a huge deal over the email non-scandal, her use of a private server, something done by several of her predecessors, notably General Colin Powell. And
listen, once again, he's offering an excuse to the email scandal. But even now today, when you're hearing some of Trump's subordinates, or a couple of them that are using personal email, listen to the fucking media propagandists talking today about, they can't do, look how terrible that is, right? But you have no problem with, like I say, holy fuck. You have to be completely blind, stupid, ignorant, apathetic to the political pundit class. I don't know what, really, you got to be the most unthinking human being on the planet to not recognize the reality that the fact that these fucking political propagandists are completely using the divide and conquer routine to divvy up the population and pander to their political deities, to their political masters, in the hopes that they can carry favor and it'll benefit them in the future.
We now know several Trump staff have done the same thing. A post-election Harvard media study showed that the email scandal accounted for 16%.
So why would you, it was a non-scandal, so why would you point out that now, because the Trump staff, right, that's subsequent that, so why are you pointing that out, Michael, huh? What? On one side of your mouth, you're saying it was non-scandal, and the other side of your mouth, you're saying, oh, but they did the same thing. Well, if it's a non-scandal, what fucking bother pointing it out? It's a non-scandal, right? Yeah, like I say, these old fucking hacks, and Michael's one of them, yeah, you're an old fuck, and you know what? I can't wait till the day where you're no longer with us. I hate to say it, right? But you're such a destructive force in the world, and so much against personal freedom and individual liberty, and rejecting this forced subjugation, this forced collectivism model. That people like myself, we won't shed a tear. I won't be tearful. There won't be no long drawn out speeches in praise of your fucking political posturing, right? In reality, we'll be very much happy for the fact of just not having to listen to your goddamn voice anymore, Michael. It's a shame because back in the day before you turned into being this full-on SJW piece of shit, at least there might have been times in the past where you put forth and presented some decent dialogue and narratives to the Canadian people that might have somewhat educated and informed them properly. But as we're seeing time and time again, you're going along to get along with your political masters, with your political hacks, to benefit you, to make sure you got that cozy paycheck, to make sure you keep that pension funded, right? And in the favor of your political masters.
Of her campaign coverage, or 4 times the attention paid to Trump and his treatment of women, and 16 times the amount of coverage of her actual policies. As Larry Womack pointed out in the Huffington Post, nobody paid much attention when the Bush administration erased millions of emails relating to the firing of United States attorneys. At no point was the security of the U.S. jeopardized by her. It was a non-story. Of the 9 presidential nominating conventions I've covered going back to 1968, the GOP convention in Cleveland stands out. The hate for Clinton in the arena was almost palpable, orchestrated and led by Donald Trump himself. Many in the audience were the favored knuckle-draggers of his base, but many were ordinary upper-middle-class Americans. The chance of...
listen, once again, knuckle-draggers, right? Think about that. They're basically trying to call you fucking apes, right? Neanderthals, more or less. Knuckle fucking draggers. The people that support Trump. Think about the derogatory fucking undertones to that fucking statement alone.
Trump the bitch and lock her up were, to my memory, unprecedented in modern American political history. No, Hillary Clinton didn't lose the election because of phony scandals. She lost the election for one reason, and one reason only. She lost because she is a woman. She lost because she is a smart, tough, successful career politician who dared to run against a man. I worry that because of the way Clinton was treated, it will be a very long time before another woman of talent dares to run.
Oh, Michael. Are you getting that shitty taste in your mouth? Because you must. Because you got your tongue shoved so far up Hillary's fucking ass and her subordinates. It's a wonder that you can even fucking breathe, really. But come on. Listen, like I said, and that was the end of it. That's it. You hear any counter narrative, any counter dialogue put forth and presented, right? Because think about it. If you're an objective journalist, you offer multiple narratives and let the people decide. But what Michael is doing in this article is offering you that one-sided perspective, that tunnel vision, and hoping that you will accept that and not even question it because he has some kind of authority, right? Shame on you, Michael. You are one nasty political opportunist at this stage. I don't know what the fuck happened to you. I really don't. Nor do I really care because, like I say, you're getting old, and soon enough, I won't have to give a flying rat's ass about what you have to say. Right? It'll just be the ramblings of some old senile piece of shit political propagandist and hack. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.